Hi there, Andrew from C1D Paintball, and I do write notes because I need them. So this video is called Small Mountain, and it takes place with my favorite game type, the Mountain, at LaSalle Paintball, and this is a game type, you know, being my favorite game type at this field, the one that I'm going to miss the most now that the field's closed down. But at least with videos like this, and I've got several out there that we kind of punched out for C1D with the Mountain, be able to relive the moments of this, not only just any game type of field, but obviously my favorite one, Mountain. Now it's Small Mountain, because it is only a 3-on-3. Now this game type is usually geared and most optimally played with lots of players. In this case, it is a 3-on-3, so it adds a different twist. Why not? Interesting note, 5 of the 6 players in it are experienced. I'm on a team with 2 speedballers. And Connor is on the other team. That's right, Connor's playing against me here. And he's got an experienced speedballer with him. And he does have a new player. Well, it's a rental. He's played a few times, but we're going to call him new. Defense tends to have the upper hand in these type in the Mountain in general, but 3-on-3, there's 2 speedballers attacking you. It can be really challenging. So as I read through my notes, did I forget to say anything? I've done enough videos of this game type. I should know it by now. But that's the great thing about a great field, is the way a layout is if you just do something like add different numbers, add different experience of players, it's like a whole new other map, a whole new different situation. And that's one of the reasons why Connor and I and the rest of the guys at C1D and so many people love LaSalle Paintball, is the area. It wasn't a huge field, but little variables that would change. I mean, it was like a whole new wonderful like situation, wonderful game opening up from the exact same field. Always important to point out, a Mountain is, especially when you don't have a lot of players, is that sound becomes important. It's close quarters. It's dark. If you give away your location, anytime in paintball, that's not an optimal thing. But in Mountain, watch out. It's really important you try to stay concealed. In this case, in this video, you'll see where I use, on purpose, I give away where I am to try to do some sort of strategy. As a matter of fact, I do that, and I'm talking with one of my speedball players upstairs. Remember, we all know each other. So, you know, we say a few things, we try little tactics like mind games that, because we know each other, it's kind of, you know, we're kind of like bugging each other, egging each other on. Wouldn't really do that if it was players on the other side that didn't know us, because it might seem cocky. In this case, we're going out there and we're having fun. At the end of the day, it's all about having fun, but making sure your fun isn't at the expense of anybody else's fun. So it's a good one. So without further ado, I say that really well, my accent. Without further ado, here's the video. Hope you like it.
Go upstairs, help direct me. I can go down if you want, I'll call it. I'll tell them to try there. Don't try and let me know what you need. Don't try and start for me. You're fast, guys, go first.
So my speedball teammates run in a lot faster than I could have, and they head for their stairwell here to get to the second floor and attack. Now, just prior to hitting pause, you could hear some shots starting to ring out. Now, as mentioned before the action started, with so many players on the field and this game type, The sounds of shots is one of the best ways to kind of gauge what's going on and to communicate and scout where the enemy is. Now, once more, this is important in all game types, but at this game type, at this field, really close quarters, really dark, it's absolutely key. And right now, what I'm being told by this sound is that there's activity on top. Now, the question in my head as I approach my entry on the bottom is, would there be 2 on top and only 1 on the bottom? Now, if there's 2 on top and 1 on the bottom, I'm going to be flat out honest. I would guess like 10 out of 10, it's going to be Connor defending the bottom alone. He is a good team player, but when something needs to be locked down by one guy, when it's a risky situation, Connor is very good at it. So I would bet right now that he's going to be lone wolf and he's going to be on the bottom if there are 2 upstairs. And judging by the amount of shots I'm hearing from my guys firing down and the action I can hear from the other side coming at us, I believe it is 2 upstairs. Now, after I pass this corner, there'll be lines of sight to their likely spots a defender could set up. Until this point, the way the boundaries are set up, the enemy would not be able to see me coming. I'm safely behind this wall here in a fork in the road. To my right is the popular corner spot, where there is little light for me to spot enemy who'd be in there. Now, this gives them great cover to cut me down, of course, but it is a predictable enough spot that shooting into it without a visual on an opponent often gets you kills. Now, to the left of it is a bunker and a hall. Now, that hall wraps around the main courtyard of the interior. Now, I'm wary of this spot in particular, this hallway, because it's a spot I actually like to take when I defend the first floor. And I'm going to carefully peek both sides, and note, it would be reckless for me to run in from here. Now, as I approach this spot, I could hear my teammates firing on top. So they're pushing up there as well, and I know at least one bad guy has been visually spotted up there. Now I decide to peek the left first, and you can clearly see this bunker position. Now I myself have dim lighting around me that conceals me on this left side, especially since I'm wearing my standard all black gear, but in reality, it's a narrow hallway. So a shot fired at me from the bunker has a really good chance of taking me out, as really there's not a lot of other places for the shots to go. And I can still hear my teammates above me, trying to figure out if there's more than one enemy up there, and of course how to deal with them. So there's that dark corner, the predictable spot I mentioned before. You can see I wasn't kidding about how well concealed a player can be in there. And unlike the left side, I'm in a well-lit area, so I can easily be seen by any enemy in this corner. Now, just because I'm not getting shot at doesn't mean the enemy isn't there. They could be slightly back to the left here, just out of the spot where they can see me. Now, while for the moment I don't think I've been spotted, I do decide to roll the dice and fire in. I know I probably won't hit anything, but maybe I'll get lucky. And the reality is they already know we have a push upstairs. I want to split their attention to let them know they have to worry about us on both floors. Now there is a small part of the catwalk entrance on the second floor here. The camera angle doesn't show it too well. I can't see a big opening here, but nonetheless there is an opening and allows me to hear things upstairs. But I can't gawk here for too long as I'm out in the open and someone in the bunker could easily take me out if I don't watch it. So I'm playing with fire. Yeah, it's bold to push up aggressively in here, but the enemy at this point, no doubt by listening, knows 2 of us are on top, and with me on the bottom giving away my position, if I get too aggressive and taken out, well then whoever's on the bottom can then fall back to the back wall on the bottom floor and help support the top floor. It is much easier for anybody on the bottom floor defending to help the top floor than the other way around. It's all about the first floor spot on the back wall here having a very cheeky angle on this main area on the second floor where attackers come in. Now back to my current position, I am really deep in from an attacker's perspective, so I have to watch out. There's a lot of risk here I have to consider. That being said, what I do next is a bit of a compromise.
called me out, boys. They know I'm here. I got, I think you mentioned about...
So yeah, my compromise to not rushing in was backing up slowly and trying some mental games, openly talking to my teammates to try to draw the enemy's attention. I have my marker up ready to fire, I have a dark hallway to conceal me, I am ready for action. My teammates even started firing some shots as well, maybe taking advantage of my distraction. Sure, I fired shots into the area before, but now I'm flaunting my position and letting them know I didn't just do a hit and run and then take off to the second floor. I even fired up on the top floor opening briefly to try to shake up the other team a bit. In all likelihood, defenders will either be on the side or this back corner. A few random shots from a strange angle my way may distract them or think maybe there's even something coming from the catwalk. I know that helmet. That's Connor. And if you listen carefully, you'll hear a flurry of shots hitting the walls around me. It's that distinct kind of popping noise. If you've been in this situation on a map like this, you know the noise I'm talking about. Now, to say I was lucky to not get hit is a total understatement. Now, he didn't overshoot me, but all those shots coming my way was kind of a non-verbal thing telling me to get back, old man. He wasn't scared. Then again, there's no denying, I think he wanted to hit me.
Whoa, 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 whoa! One downstairs! Our team or their team? All right, let's have some fun then.
So continuing my cheeky mood, after my teammate tells me we lost a player, I say, okay, let's have some fun. Now, before the game I mentioned, we know each other, so while this might appear to be a cocky thing to say, look, we all know each other. It's a little bit of fun taunting, and besides, it's Connor in front of me. I think he's the one that's going to have fun in the end here. The reality is the other team just took a huge advantage, as now it's a 2-on-3. And the way I play most times, it's more like a 1.5-on-3.
I'll go down.
So after sneaking up and putting my toes in the water for a while, I sit back in a safer spot for a few seconds, and I wait to see what happens and ponder my next move. So instead of falling back as we're down a man, I get back into this aggressive spot. You always got to keep your enemy on their toes, right? Now, just prior to this little exchange of shots, an enemy player on top floor called out hit. So we're back to even footing. But down here, Connor once again will catch me a bit off guard as he pops up in this small cutout and fires at me. Luckily, again, I don't get hit, mostly because the opening is at a low level, so it's a little awkward for him to shoot at me from here. Now, I try a different angle to fire at him, but neither of our shots connect. Now, I apologize for the grainy image. Once again, it's very dark in the mountain, and the time of this video was shot, I was using a camera that was only 30 frames per second. Now, as I try to approach from this different angle on the back wall, you'll see Connor jump quickly back to the main bunker and fire some more shots my way. Well, we both exchange even more shots before I simply retreat. It's clear he won't back down from this spot anytime soon, and he's playing the strengths of this area very well. After a brief pause to catch my breath, I'm realizing I'm in tough down here, and noting there's been no activity on the top floor recently, at least none that I could hear, I decide to change it up and see what's going on up there. And I'm just going to pause this and explain what's about to happen in the next few seconds, because when I initially edited this video, I had a few extra pauses, but I felt it kind of broke up the gameplay a little bit. Now, I mentioned it had gotten quiet upstairs, but lo and behold, as I'll start this video up again, you'll hear the shot start up again. As a matter of fact, it ramps up to a fever pitch. As I make it to the top, I'm going to look down the main corridor and try to spot a teammate or enemy. Now, I won't see anything, but with shots still ringing out, I lean out towards the catwalk and add to the mayhem by firing into the top corner of the mountain. A bit difficult to see, but the noob on the other team has been taken out. You can see him exiting the main part of the main floor. Now we have a 2-to-1 advantage, but that last enemy player is Connor, who is well entrenched on the main floor, and shots will continue to fire out in the background with Connor and my teammate engaging each other. So I'm going to head downstairs and try to pinch him out. So I'm back here again, and the shooting has died down. In fact, the only shots I've heard in the last few seconds were my teammate, who clearly had lost sight of Connor, but was peppering shots downstairs in an attempt to get him or lure him out. Even though we have the manpower advantage, I have to watch it as Connor has a pretty solid defensive spot. He proved that earlier, of course, and he's on top of his game today. So here's my mistake. Like the first time I approached here earlier in the game, I'll fire some shots into this area where Connor may be. And like last time, I don't hit him and give away where I am. So I totally threw away my advantage of having the element of surprise. I think you know what's coming up, and after failing to take me out in 2 earlier opportunities, Connor is further back in the shadows and carefully firing through several openings and windows takes me out. And if you're curious, Connor held out until time expired, and under the rules, that means defenders win.
Hit! I'm out, coming out! God damn it, I thought I had him.
Okay, so that's it. This one ends up really being a one-on-one with me and Connor for most of it. I got lucky because 2 opportunities, especially the first one, I'm lucky I survived. So he got me in the end, and there's not too many situations where we did play against each other a fair amount of times over the years at the field. There wasn't too many times where he didn't kind of have the upper hand on me, and he certainly had it here. Probably lasted about 3 or 4 minutes longer than I should have. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hope you liked it. For those players who played at the field before, and now that we will not be able to play this game type at this great field that maybe it brought back some good memories, feel free to leave a comment if you want to reiterate how poorly I played this or any memories you have of it. Otherwise, have a good one. Remember, help those new players out there. Be positive, have fun, and once again, as I mentioned earlier, your fun shouldn't be at the expense of others. It's a community, and it's a game that we need to make sure people keep playing, because it's not one that we have millions of people playing it. You know, there's only a select few who know about the sport and love it. Hope it's more, and it will be more if we keep being positive, helping each other out in a respectful way. I've kind of babbled about this because that's how important it is to me. I want to make sure I select the right words, and my camera tilted. So I go like this. Go out there, have fun, and at the end of the day, it's just a game.
Game over.